this computer. I was thinking about this today, and this is like the universe, right? The universe where the first book I ever read on this path of motivation, inspiration was the book, The Secret. And then, that book was cool, but it never talks about taking action. It talks about if you think about things, things will happen for you. And then I read the book, The Alchemist, which is my favorite book of all time. And it just talks about, going through journeys and things happen for a specific reason, but you have to take action. We're going to bring my first guest in today, Tawny. But before I bring her in, I want to talk about just a couple quick things before I bring her in. The podcast, I haven't had an episode in probably 3 or 4 weeks. And the full disclosure, I bought a new house. The world headquarters has moved again. As you can see, I got. I'll tell stories on one of these days. These paintings behind me, but there's been a lot of changes in my life, a lot of emotional changes, and a lot of transformations too. And it hasn't been easy. And I've talked to myself about the things I screw up on, the things I mess around with, but I guess all these stories that I'm telling you is, one of the things beautiful about this show is that it's authentic and real and unscripted. And it's very, again, it's authentic. Like I tell my life stories about this, but that's why I haven't had an episode in a while. And I've been struggling with it for a while too. I thought about some of the things that I love to do, and some of the things I love to do. I was asked that the other day, what do you love to do, Jeremy? And it was weird. It took me a long time to answer. I don't know what I love to do. I thought about, do I love golfing? Okay, it's cool. I like working out. I don't know. Do I love working? Not really. I mean, I love my job, but what do I really truly love to do? And it boiled down to, I love podcasting. One of the reasons I love podcasting is because it allows me to have conversations with people that selfishly for me, and I'm gonna hook my guest up. We're gonna tell her where to find her and all that good stuff, but it allows me to work through these mental barriers that I deal with. So selfishly, gosh, I love podcasting, and it's been a mental break for me for a while because I don't know where to start. I don't know, because of this journey's been so jacked up, and we'll talk about this in future episodes, some of the things I've been going through. But I guess more importantly, I'm really glad you're tuning in and still tuning in. I looked at our statistics today, and obviously downloads are down because I haven't done a podcast in a while, but I think there's like 5,000 downloads in the last 2 weeks or something, which is cool because people are still tuning in. And it just tells me that I need to continue to go down this path. And I'm going to reinvent this podcast in the next month. And I think it's going to be geared on conversations like we're having today with my guest. Now, Tawny and I met randomly, and I told the story a little bit ago about The Secret and The Alchemist and going down these paths and meeting people that are in your for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I met Tawny when I went to the club room, which is a small, I don't even want to say small, restaurant, bar, but cool, like down to earth, eclectic. I just love it. I love the tone. I love the vibe of it. And I sat down and for whatever reason, I went there that day and I met my guest, Tawny Lovelace. So Tawny, first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on it.
You're welcome.
We sat down and I asked her, I said, Tawny, what do you do besides this? And she said, Jeremy, I'm a love coach. And the first thought in my mind was, holy shit, that's wild. Because I've been really struggling lately. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. It's so weird. Like, I don't even know how to put this shit into words. I really don't. It's weird because I'm very, I like to talk about things and I like to put things in words. And I like to use different situations to talk about it, but I don't really know where I'm at right now. But I meet Tawny. So Tawny and I are having a conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about the things that we talked about today. And then yesterday I met my, I don't want to say counselor, but psychiatrist, counselor / whatever. And the conversation I had with her was creepily, eerily related to the conversation we're going to have with Tawny. My therapist told me yesterday that, Jeremy, you have a problem with masculinity. It wasn't like she didn't say it directly like that. It was way more well-spoken than just that. It wasn't like you suck and here's your problem. But it made a lot of sense because I'm coming out of a relationship where I'm never right. And when you're never right as a man, you have a problem after this relationship trying to like I'm constantly like, What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to this restaurant, or this restaurant? I'm like, I feel like I'm giving options because I'm trying to be a nice guy. But what my therapist was telling me was, Jeremy, sometimes you're always going to be a nice guy. However, you need to understand your masculinity a little bit more. And again, I'm butchering the way it was set up. But based on the conversation I had with you briefly, it really made sense after, like, I talked to you and then I had a situation with my therapist, and now I'm talking to you again. But I guess the opening question for you, you're a love coach, you're changing lives all around the world. And it was so inspiring to talk to you. Like, literally, you blew me away. And when I left our conversation, I kept asking myself, like, this is amazing that this woman is in my life now where I'm struggling the most. I don't know where to turn, what to say. Obviously, you can tell my thoughts are completely, like, they're out of, they're totally random. But I think, a lot of people in my situation probably go through the same situation. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. I'm 43 years old. I've been in a long-term relationship for a long, long time. It's over for sure. It's way over. I don't know what to do. I know I gave you a lot, Tawny, but I want you to just talk a little bit about, because the reason I say this, because I know for a fact that people listening to this show can relate, whether you're male or female. You can relate to this conversation. And I want you to just talk a little bit about how fucked up my head is.
Well, let's start first with it's not fucked up.
Well, you said that to me the other day too, and I understand that. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and in all reality, listen, we all get fucked up in our heads, right? I mean, just because I'm a love coach doesn't mean I don't have my own moments like today. So I want to start off by first saying, listen, you're 43, I'm 45. Life is not over. Because I think a lot of times we look at it and we're like, oh man, we're 43, we're 45, we're 56, we get this age in our head, which already paints a picture, right? And it already kind of opens the door for us to keep pushing and accelerating on those limiting beliefs we already have. But so you're never too old, it's never too late. But the masculinity thing is huge, Jeremy. Like, in order for any relationship to really work, there has to be polarity. The masculine and the feminine, and we each have masculine and feminine energy. So what's really important is that when you look at society now, roles have shifted. People are playing different positions when it comes to dating and relationships, and everything is being affected by that. But you brought up a great topic, nice guys. It's one of the biggest topics I talk to men about, because, and listen, women apply too. Just because we hear a lot about nice guys and, nice guys finish last, there's a lot of nice women out there that finish last. And it's because they are not comfortable in those roles. It's just a great place to start. It's a place we all need to start, but it starts with self-reflection and being able to identify, because so many people don't even understand what masculine and feminine energy even means now.
I was, and I'm convinced that nice guys finish last. I've watched your videos, and everybody's listening. Follow her on social media. Follow her on TikTok, which you're killing it on TikTok. Obviously Instagram and Facebook and everywhere you can find Tawny. And make sure you find her, because I watched your videos, and then you can probably see me, like, it's so funny. Like, when you go through, when you're getting notifications, Jeremy watched your video from 3 years ago. Like, what's this dude doing? But you know what I'm saying? It's like that's what I was doing. I was going through and watching these videos, and the nice guys do finish last. And I've reflected on this so hard the last 3 days since we talked last. I went on a date the other day, and I really, like, I was trying to implement things that you were telling me, but I felt uncomfortable.
Right.
The woman that I was with pushed back for a second, but not like push back, like, no, we're not gonna do that. It was just like, oh, well, I don't know if we want to do that. But then she said, okay. And the night continued. It was one of the best nights of dating I probably have ever had in my entire life, because it was completely out of my comfort zone, but I was very intentional about saying, okay, let's leave here. Let's go here. And I would never do that before. It would almost be like, what time do you want to leave here? And it wasn't, that's typically me. Like, I didn't really know what to say, but I was just saying the things that we talked about. And I watched your videos about trying to not be a dick, because I'm not an asshole. I try to be the nicest guy in the world, but I was really trying to take control and not really take, I don't even like saying that word. It
Well,
wasn't
you're
taking control. It was like expressing what I wanted to do next from a place of confidence that
yeah.
I typically don't do.
Yeah. I think you said a key word, intentional. You have to be intentional because here's what's unattractive to women, to most women. Uncertainty. That's unattractive to most people, right? When we're uncertain, when we don't know what's going to happen, when we don't know how to embrace that unknown, like that stems from a place of fear. And so you got to think about it. Like it's not, nobody looks at that as a positive, you know, and so you obviously work through it. And like myself, I can embrace uncertainty and kind of go with the flow now, but men and their masculine energy move with intention. They know who they are. They have a strong sense of self, which makes it easier for them to be more confident and comfortable taking the lead. And I'll tell you what really is, because we hear a lot about women being in their masculine. And I hear a lot of women out there that are like, well, I mean, if I have to do A, B, C, and D, I mean, what do I need him for? And he can't. Here's the problem. Women like myself, we are in control of most of things in our life, our careers, our kids, our household, our finance. Like we are in control of that. We're independent. So when we get with a man, we want to be feminine. We want to be submissive. We want to feel like we can hold space for him. But in order to do that, he has to be in his masculine energy. I have to be able to trust his lead. And if he doesn't know where the fuck he's going, how am I going to trust his lead? If he doesn't know where the fuck we're going to eat, or he doesn't know how to make a plan for a day, like I get being, like intentional, and it'll make, like, if you did that, it'd make you feel even more confident as you get used to doing it. It's going to feel empowering. It's going to feel liberating because you're taking the lead, and you have a strong sense of self. It's an attractive place to be.
Well, it's funny because I was telling my therapist this yesterday. And again, this was everything I told my therapist was based on the conversation that you and I had. And that's what I would tell everybody out there listening to this. Boy, I mean, the brief conversation that we had, it was literally, I don't want to like over traumatize or dramatize that or whatever the word is. I don't want to make it like, oh my God, it's the biggest, most life-changing thing ever. But it opened up so many doors and lights that I didn't know were right in front of me. So I go to my therapist and I'm telling her all these things that I've struggled with. And it was almost like, and again, I'm not trying to like toot your horn and say you're the best, but it was like,
No,
saying
your
exactly
okay.
right. It was, but again, it's like most guys like me don't know how to do that. Like I don't know because I've been in this relationship for so long. I was literally just blindly saying things based on the conversation that you and I had that, and it worked out great. So I'm interested to see how it goes before. And I'm going to ask you another question. This is another area that I struggle with is how do you ask a woman out? I know it sounds so stupid and so basic, but I am coming to you from, I know other guys think this way. I know they do. And I'm sure women are reaching through the speakers right now saying, Jeremy, what the hell is wrong with you? But I literally have no idea. I've told you the other night, I have no game. I have no game at all. My confidence gets, I have great confidence at work. This is where I was kind of thinking with my therapist. My confidence is through the roof at work. Through the roof. Like I can tell anybody anything. It doesn't matter, male, female. I am the freaking king of that castle. But when I leave work, I get into the submissive role to where I don't know what to say to women. I don't know. Do I come across too open? What do I say? Like, do I just say, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? I mean, I don't even know what to say, Tawny. I'm like completely lost.
I absolutely cannot tell you how much I appreciate you asking that question. It's some of the most basic questions that people are scared to ask, and it's just so key for all of us to kind of learn and take in. It's a great question. I get asked it all the time. Here's where it comes down to. It's not about, I can teach you tips, tricks, techniques. I can teach you smooth lines and how to be witty and how to go in and charm. It is about having that strong sense of self, because once you're confident, and you're saying you're confident, and a lot of men I work with are confident in business, are very successful in business, but can't translate that same confidence and same success into their relationships. Like I used to work with a college referee, very confident on the court, so great, but that's because he's competent, right? Confidence is being competent in something, and you're competent in your position as in your career, same as I am. However, it still goes over into self-worth. It's not just because self-worth is how we feel about ourselves, and that's where limiting beliefs come in. I'm not good enough, I'm never right, I'm too this, I'm too that. So subconsciously those come into play. So we have to, that's why it's so important to, like, when people are like, well, how do I, improve or get a more powerful love life, or how do I get this relationship, or how do I ask someone out? Get real comfortable learning who you are. We have to unlearn habits. It's not that we have to change, or like nice guys have to change for somebody else or change for her. It's not about that. It's about evolving and really like discovering who you are at the core. Because listen, most men and most women have the same traits. It's just that certain men and certain women know how to display them differently. So we all have the same ability to do that. But I think when you get to a point where you feel like you've battled those limiting beliefs, and you're a mindset coach, this, but once you battled those limiting beliefs and you've rewritten the narrative and you've rewired your potential, I think you're going to be more comfortable asking people out, because it's not, there's no golden ticket, Jeremy. There's no like, he needs to say this, do that. There are some little tips and tricks that would be helpful. Like, listen, if you're going to ask a woman out, don't say, hey, are you available on Friday? Want to hang out on Friday? I don't know if that's romantic. I don't know if you're leading with intention. I don't know what your intentions are. So it's important that men take the lead and say, hey, listen, you did up when you text me, hey, I got free tickets to the Tin Caps game. This time, like, that was a plan. I knew what to expect, what day and what time. Perfect. That's you had it. So the fact is like, yeah, there are, I'm not going to say there aren't tips and tricks that can help along the way, but you just have to get real comfortable and confident. Because like right now, you said you're walking away from a relationship you've been in for years, which a lot of my clients have. They're coming out of marriages, long-term relationships, and they've been conditioned, and you've been saying you're not right. You got to trust that you
question. I've been conditioned that I'm not right. And I think you nailed it when you said self-worth. I think the self-worth is so spot on, because subconsciously, when I go to work, I know what I'm worth. I mean, I know for a fact that this is what I can provide. This is the end result of what I do. When I leave that environment, my self-worth, it's almost like I'm fucked up. So I don't know if I overvalue that. Like, I don't want to come across too confident. I don't want to come across too egotistical, because this is who I am at work and this is what makes me extremely successful. Is that a turnoff? I guess I don't even know really the right answer. I don't even know what I struggle with. And I guess this is why it's so beautiful what you do with your clients and helping them get through these things, because it's not easy. And I think one of the things that I love about doing this show, like selfishly for my show and having you on, is I try and set an example that I say that I'm not self-confident, but I like to talk about it out loud, because I think it's a lot of people, especially guys, just go, oh, well, I know everybody goes through it. We all go through this self-confidence thing. I go through spurts of it too. Like, I'm extremely self-confident and then I'm not self-confident. This is what I want to talk to you about. This just popped in my head when I was saying that. Sometimes with my self-confidence and my self-belief, I talk to women that, this is going to sound so terrible, but it's real. I talk to women that are, this is going to sound like a dick, but so if you want to unfollow me and listen to the show, that's fine. Call me what you want. Call me egotistical, call me an asshole. But women that are not in my league, but below my league, because it gives me that confidence, because it sounds so terrible saying that. I think it's subconsciously, and it sounds so I hate even saying that, because it sounds terrible. Like, Jeremy, you're a dick. You're egotistical. That is so rude for you to say that. But in reality, it's true. We know when we look at people, and let's just call a spade a spade. When I look at people and they're out of my league, I know they're out of my league. I know under my league, I know they're under my league. I can put these people in groups, and I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but I will sometimes try and talk to people that I think maybe aren't as quote unquote as successful as me, to make me feel like I'm more confident than what I actually should be in reality. I should be that way anyways, but I'm not, because my deep down, my subconscious self is telling me I'm not worth that. So then I
Yeah.
try and talk to people that are less successful, less have their lives together, less, I mean, you good looking. I mean, I don't want to put that, I hate putting that out there, but that is like a serious messed up thing. And I think, but that's reality. I don't know. I think other people do that too. It's weird saying that out loud, but I have, how about this? Lowered my standards
Okay,
to
so
make myself feel good.
let me ask you this. So basically you're going after women you don't, like the women you typically do want, you're not going after. Is that right to say? I mean, so you're going left instead of right. Like you want her, but you're like, I'm gonna go for her.
That would be a fair statement, because if I go this way, I know, I think to myself, there's no chance I've got this girl. If I go this way, oh, I can do that. I can, that girl's guaranteed no matter what.
Yeah. Well,
But I celebrate the win. I'm like, oh, this is cool, because I feel more confident this way, and I won't get shot down, and I won't hurt my ego, because I'm so ego fragile that I don't want to
yeah.
get shot down by this girl that I think if I actually had a conversation with her, maybe deep down I could probably win over, but I don't have the confidence to say hi to her. But I'd rather go over here where I know that I'd have a lot better chance.
Okay, so yeah, for 5 minutes you get that external validation, or however long it lasts, you get that external validation and feel more confident in that moment, because you feel like as if you are, I'm not going to say above, but like you don't have any, she doesn't have any expectations. You've met those expectations, you're, at this point, since you went to the lower route. But the truth is at some point it comes right back around to feeling like, damn, that's not really, you don't feel as fulfilled, because it's not, you're denying yourself what you really want. And the truth is you and I both know nothing grows from a comfort zone. So you're staying in
Sure.
you're staying comfortable, you're staying in familiarity, you're staying in that zone because it's easy. If you want a powerful life, you've got to push yourself outside that zone. I do it every fucking day, and it's not easy. You know what I mean? Every day I do it, every fucking day, Jeremy. And if people knew just as so much that I deal with and go for, it's like, how do you even stay in that zone? Because I want a powerful life, a powerful love life. I want a powerful relationship. I want a powerful love. But like, it's like you said, you're not going for the people out of your league. Why? It's kind of like, and I made a post about this. I said a lot of men to call me and we talk, and then a lot of my clients are like, well, she's out of my league. I'd never, well, or when I work at the bar as a bartender all these years, I hear this comment so often. Wow, how do you pull her? Probably the money. And I'm thinking, no, probably because he has the balls. I mean, he's obviously confident enough. He literally, I mean, he has something that if you, I mean, you don't feel like you could, and he felt like he could, and that's attractive. That's why you see men sometimes with women, you're like, well, how did he pull her? He must have money. No, he has a whole lot of confidence, and he's secure, and he's masculine, and he takes the lead, and he's intentional, and he moves with direction.
I think you're exactly right, because when I don't know, I think this is where I tell this again. This is where the mental struggle comes with me. I think I have the confidence. I really do. I think I have. I'm glad we're having this conversation, because it's just hyping me up in my own mind, and with your help, this is what you do for your clients, though, which is great. I think I have extreme confidence. I've been very fortunate throughout my life. I mean, again, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I've been extremely successful. It's based on my confidence, and it's gotten me so far in my life. And I really haven't had the opportunity or the willingness to apply that in my dating life.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe I can. I am successful. I got dashingly good looks.
Yeah, Jeremy, listen, what's so funny is like so many men, are attractive, and they'll be like, well, I just don't, I've dated nice guys. That's why I'm so passionate about, I was a men's motivational love coach for 3 years. I'm very passionate about helping men and women, but men realize that, listen, the nice guy thing, a lot of the nice guys will be like, I'm a nice guy. Don't ever say that. Please don't don't ever label yourself as a nice guy, because it just gives off a wrong narrative anyways. But good men, you want to be a good man, and a good solid man is kind. Of course he's nice, but he has other good things going for himself, and you have a lot going for yourself. Like, you should be your biggest hype man. There's no reason you should not be out here feeling like that success can translate over. But that's where I help people on the journey rewire their potential, so they can get that self-worth and self-love, and feel really good, and conquer those limiting beliefs. Because listen, we get one life. You know that we get one life. Like, I don't want to end up on my deathbed and be like, damn, I should have, what if I could have. I just got to do it.
Yeah.
I just do it. And so many people are you scared of rejection?
I
How
don't
you handle?
know. No, I don't think I am. And I say that with not absolute uncertainty or certainty, but pretty damn close. I've been rejected a million billion times, and I get rejected at work all the time too. So I would say no, I'm not. It's almost like it's not the rejection itself. It's building the confidence in order to get the rejection. Does that make sense?
I mean, it's kind of backwards, but yeah. I mean, think about it like this. You're used to you're used to rejection. The only reason someone's not confident, I mean, not that they're not confident. I get what you're saying. There's got to be a level of confidence so you can even approach that person. But if you're confident, then you also handle rejection really well. I mean, not well, but you understand that it's just realignment, it's redirection. So, I mean, again,
Too.
huh?
That's a very good point about the realignment too, because I think it just when you get rejected, is obviously that's not the way it was supposed to go anyway. So that makes sense, because if if I ask you on a date and say, Tawny, let's go out this Friday night, and you say no, then that's okay, because it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily that you have to think of it. See, listen what you just told yourself. I literally like, hey, it's not meant to be, which is okay to tell yourself that. But listen, I've been approached and I've said no to many people. And the thing is I just met you. I don't really know enough to explain why I'm telling you no, but people take no like it's so like they take it personal. And I always tell people, if you're out here trying to date and you're taking rejection personal, it's personal to you, then you're not ready to be out here dating. You need to do a little inner work, right? Because the truth is I've said no for multiple reasons. I've said no because I was coming out of a messy breakup and I wasn't ready, and I knew that. I said no because I was focused on a promotion in my last career. I said no because I didn't have space or time, and I'm aware of that. I said no for a lot of reasons. I said no, and I still found them attractive, somebody I might be interested in. And people question that, but I'm like, that's the truth. I mean, I know myself well enough to know whether or not I can move in that direction. So, I mean, I think we got to learn not to take it personal, you know?
I do know what you're saying. And again, this is why I need to talk to you more often, because just this conversation only has given me so much confidence. Like it just, it fills in the gray areas of my confidence, and it makes so much sense. And this is obviously why you're changing lives. And again, I'm talking to Tawny Lovelace, killing it everywhere. Reach out to her. Make sure you find her on all social medias, because obviously you can tell her realness and rawness is so informational but real. I mean, I guess it's not it's real, but it's right. I mean, this is the stuff that I don't understand, and when you say these things, gosh, it just makes a big difference. Like I feel more confident talking to you, so I need to talk to you more often. I need to talk to you at least once a week for the rest of our lives. If you're cool with that, I mean, I got time. Believe that. Tony, there's 7 questions I go over all my guests on my show. Are you ready for them? I know you weren't prepared for them, but you're going to get them anyways. Are you ready?
I was not prepared. Yes, I'm ready for all times. Let's go.
There's a book called Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, and it's written by John Maxwell. He's one of my favorite leadership authors of all time, and he has these 7 questions. So question number 1 for Tawny is, what is the greatest lesson you've ever learned?
The greatest lesson that I've ever learned. I'm going to share 2 real quick. 1, to trust my gut instinct. It's so simple, but so many of us override it, whether it's red flags, whether it's
where does that come from?
Trust your
the gut. Like where how did, like, I've always wondered that, because when I say the same thing, trust your gut, but like it's like a weird subconscious thing that I don't know where it comes from.
Well,
Is it your subconscious self saying that something's not adding up?
It's your body, it's everything. Listen, and you also have to be able to discern whether or not it's in your intuition versus insecurity. When it comes to like love and relationships, there's a difference. So the greatest lesson I've ever learned is to trust my gut. I ended up in I didn't trust my gut, and I didn't pay attention to my body in a certain experience I had in my life some years back when I was in college. And had I paid attention, I wouldn't have ended up in the space that I did. and had the experience that I did. And I wish I would have done that. And that didn't have anything to do with love. It was another scenario, but I'm like, man, so many times if we just listen to our body, there's a reason we feel this way. There's a reason that that feeling is coming up, rather than bypass it. It would have saved me a lot of different roads I had to go down, let's just say. And I think the other lesson, now that I'm 45, man, the greatest lesson is that the more I discover about myself, the more I love myself. The more I discover about myself, the more I know how to read other people and understand other people, just by evolving who I am. I think that's been my greatest lesson, because so many times we try to read books and focus on other people and what they're doing and how to do it. I'm just so glad I've taken the time to really learn myself. You know,
I do know exactly what you're saying, because
I say you know a lot.
I on this one, because I was just literally thinking about this. I was sitting in the room while I was watching a podcast from Lex Friedman and Rick Rubin. If you don't know who Lex Friedman is, you got to find his podcast. They're brilliant, and Rick Rubin's brilliant as well. And they're talking about Nietzsche and quotes with Nietzsche. And I'm thinking to myself, like, and I'll come back to the subject here again, but I was thinking to myself, like, I know who Nietzsche is, and I know these things, I know these conversations, but the only reason I know them is because I spent time by myself in silence, either reading or literally trying to figure out what is in my head. So before we got on the show today, my house is dead silent for 15 minutes. And I just wandered around. Like, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I'm just wandering around trying to figure out, like, my mind's moving so fast. But as I'm going through this, I'm thinking about myself and, like, man, where are my pitfalls? What am I great at? What am I going to do tomorrow? Like, I decided in the last 15 minutes before the show is I'm going to build another vision board. And I'm going to make it the size of a wall. I'm going to make it gigantic for all these things that are going through my head. And I'm going to add things to this to help. I think a lot of times when I try and figure myself out, that it's rapid fire. It's one thing after another thing. And then I think about something and then it's gone. But I think by either writing these things down or creating this vision board to where I can see all the things that I struggle with, that I excel at, that I'm great at, I can get a bigger picture of actually who I am and figure out the things that I really, really like. And again, it's just so funny that you said that, because I literally just thought about that. And I think that would be a great idea for me to kind of plot this shit out that's in my head. Because if I don't know who I am, how can I help anybody else out? How can I be at peace? And I'm so close too. That's the beautiful thing about this. Like, through all the struggles and all the temptations and all the crazy shit that's going on in my life now, I feel like I'm closer now than I've ever been in my entire life to figuring out actually who I am. And you gotta go through the fire to get to the other side. But I thought this too. You're either going into a tragedy, in the middle of a tragedy, or coming out of a tragedy.
Absolutely.
I think I'm going into a mental tragedy. I'm not trying to be like over dramatic about it, but I think it's great, because on the other side of this tragedy, of this mental struggle I'm going through, is going to be greatness, and it's not that far away. And when I say not that far away, I think it's realistically 2 months. And I'm constantly like this, right? We're all constantly like this, but this is a huge transfer in my life to where I've been and where I'm going. And again, I'm not just trying to kiss your ass because you're right in front of me, but literally it made a huge impact talking to you 2 days ago, that I'm like, man, I need to start figuring out. I need to quit holding on to this bullshit that's in my own head. Step into the greatness that I always talk about to myself. I talk to my clients. I talk to everybody about.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done. Like, I can talk about it all day, and I've been through ups and downs throughout my life, but this is like whatever we're going through is always the biggest thing you've ever gone through. But this is probably one of the biggest transformations I've gone through in a long time. And I've never been so excited to get to that point, to where I can be extreme confident with my personal life, not business life, nothing else, not dating life, nothing, but with my own personal life. So I'm super excited. Like, I am fucking fired up.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that passion. I love that. I think that's one thing I'm really great about, is sparking that in other people. And I want to say that you sparked that in me when we met at the bar. Like, just because when you meet like-minded people that have that same drive, that determination, it sparked me again, and we all have our high and low points, but I love that you said we're either going in the middle of or coming out of a tragedy. I'm literally, this last year has been one of the biggest, most transformational years of like bullshit. Jeremy, I'm sure like you can relate, right? Like I can, like sometimes I'm like, I cannot believe this is where I'm at 45, and this is the bullshit that I'm going through after I've done all this work. But what I'm learning is that the self-improvement path is never ending. And the more that I get to know myself, the more that I can attract the opportunities that I want, the partner that I want. Like, I know who I have to become in order to achieve and attract and align with it, exactly what it is that I want. And so in order to do that, I'm gonna have to go through these transformations, and they're scary as shit, aren't they? Aren't they
Scary
scary?
shit. They're scary as shit, but they're exciting too. And you go through all the emotions. You go through doubt. You go through fear. You go through extreme happiness, confidence, and then you go through fear. It's just crazy. But hopefully these get less and less and less over time. But I'm excited. Question number 2 for Tawny is, what are you learning now?
That fear is my friend. I am pretty much a go-getter. Nothing really to, like nothing. I don't have a whole lot of fear, because I try to battle those limiting beliefs and master my emotions and stuff like that. But I think fear of the unknown, I've been struggling with, again, this past year. Fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty. I left a long-term relationship from somebody I thought I was spending my life with. I moved to another state again. I took on the responsibility of raising my 5-year-old granddaughter. A lot of things changed in my life. So the greatest lesson I'm learning right now, and I think I'm coming out of that mental tragedy, but I think the lesson, I'm like in the middle of this right now, as far as like embracing that uncertainty, and that everything I fear doesn't, like, people either operate from faith or fear for me, right? I think it's either you're operating from a space of faith or fear. And it's really understanding that fear is more of a guidance for me, like a guided path, a lighted path. Like, if I can come face to face with my fear, embrace my fear, what am I scared of? Why am I scared? Why do I feel this way? And really embrace it. It kind of helps guide me in the direction I know I need to go.
It 100% does. It's like I know I don't want to go down that road, but God, I have to go down. It scares the shit out of me, but I have to do this. And you are 100% right with that. I'm going to skip question number 3, because number 3 is how has failure shaped your life. But number 4 is, who do you know that I should know?
That's a great question. Well, I would normally say you need to know me, but since we're already acquainted at this time, I'm loving it.
I need to get to know you better for sure. And it's so weird. Like, we were talking about this the other day. Like, lived in the same time. Obviously, I know you're in Florida for a long time, but we're really close to age, and I've never met you before in my entire life, which is so bizarre. And we have so many things in common, which is pretty amazing too. But I've never met you before, which is so wild.
It is.
Weird.
When you look at like mutual friends we have, in the same kind of like mind frame we have, and like where we're at. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's been in Florida, but it's crazy that you never heard of me or I never heard of you. And now that I think about it, I kind of feel like I've heard your name in passing before, but nothing that would like stand out where I'm like, oh, it was this conversation or this or that. But what was the question?
Who do you know that I should know?
I do know someone that I think I instantly knew, like, man, I've got to connect you to. Stan, the old fashioned man. He is a men's transformational coach. He is amazing, and he has a story that's very similar, I think, to yours when it comes to like the nice guy and a few things, and just a huge transformation that he had within himself. His own testimony, his own journey is amazing. But I'll have to connect you through his social media. He's had a podcast as well, a couple of different times, but I think it's his journey that stands out, and I think you guys would really click. And I love that, like, he's all about other men supporting men. And he has a really cool like men's group they do. He's connected, and I love that. So I think it's I think there's always room for all of us to connect and grow and benefit somehow.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should start a men's group.
Oh, it's huge. I've thought about it, but I mean, it's best if a man could do it, of course. Absolutely.
I think that'd be a good idea. I should do that. All right, I'm gonna write that down and make sure I do that. The only other thing I've written down also, don't I don't even can't remember. Don't ever don't ever quit saying that you're the nice guy. I wrote that down here too. So
yeah, don't ever say that.
I'm gonna completely stop doing that. Develop a men's group. Okay. Stan the old-fashioned man.
Yeah, Stan the old fashioned man. And he has a love for old fashions. And so he makes his own old fashioned here and there, or visits different bars. And actually he was just talking about an idea about traveling. I think he says about traveling to the US and going to different bars. And because bars, a lot of the bartenders are therapists. We hear a lot of stories. We hear a lot of transformations. We hear a lot of things. So he thought it would be, I think I was reading just the other day that he thought it would be a great idea, or this is what he's doing, is to like go around and speak to different bars, take their, test their old fashioned and hear what one of their most life-changing stories has been.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's an amazing idea.
Huh, I'll be damned. All right, question number 5 is, what have you read that I should read?
I was looking at your page. I saw that you posted David Goggins, and I was like, I was looking at some of the stuff on your page. We have a lot of the similarities. The Good Leaders Ask Good Questions. I think I started reading that like a couple months ago and just didn't finish it. Remember how I told you a lot of books?
Yeah.
I started reading. I read like multiple books at the same time, and then just go with whichever one drives me. But I've read so many. Gosh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna go Strengthening Your Grip. And it's actually by Charles, is it Charles Swindle from way back, Strengthening Your Grip. It's a very old book. Matter of fact, I think I got it, it's probably like 70 years old or something. I have it. It's a very old book. I got from an old house we lived in when I was young. My mom had it and just kept it on her bookshelf. And I read it, but it's Strengthening Your Grip. And it goes through every type of life aspect you could think of: finances, spirituality, everything in your life. And it's about strengthening your grip, and it ties in scripture, which I kind of enjoy. But it's a great book, and I've had it all these years, and I always go back and reread it over and over.
All right. I have a bookshelf here in my living room. I was just thinking today, I need to add different types of books, and I will look into this book. You ever been to Hyde's bookstore there on Wells Street?
No.
That's in the 08. You got to go check that out. It's like one of the oldest bookstores in like Indiana. It's so dope. I got like 7 cats that live there too. It's so cool. But I bet I can find that book there. So that, I promise you, I'll give you my word, I will read this book next. After that, I've decided that I'm going to read a book, completely something that's different than me. I'm going to read like a book on art. I think art is an area of creativity and beauty that I really appreciate from a distance, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read some kind of book about art next after Strengthening Your Grip. Is it a long book?
No, it's a decent sized book, and he's got it broken up easy. It's like an easy read.
Okay, that's what I want. Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 6 is, what have you done that I should do?
Quite a few things, I bet I could mention, but we'll save that for later podcasts or conversations.
All right.
Something. It's a great question. You got some great questions here.
Thank you.
What's something?
I'll give you my answer. You can think about it.
Yeah,
my answer, I use this a lot. But I went on a trip by myself. I went to Ireland a couple years ago, and it was with no reservations. I flew from here to Detroit to Dublin. I landed in Dublin, and I had no reservations. All I had was a rental car. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know where I was going. I had no clue what was happening, and it got so real so fast. When you get off the plane, and I went to my rental car, and I was on the wrong side of the car in a manual stick shift car on the wrong seat. Like, I'm on this side, and then I was on the wrong side of the road as well. I was on this side of the road. I was so confused. After traveling all night, I got downtown Dublin by myself. I'm like, what in the hell did I just do? I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. But it was a great exercise to help calm myself down, figure things out, meet new people, just go with the flow, like nothing. I had literally no idea what I literally that day I went to the Guinness factory and then drove straight west to a little town called Galway. I got an Airbnb there, and then I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do now the next day? And then I just drove north, and I had literally no plans. It was so dope to be gone by yourself.
Absolutely.
It was a little scary, a little eerie. But it made you like, it gave me a different view of myself. It gave it, you know what it did? And this is going to sound kind of weird, but I think I have certain levels of confidence and negativity and self-doubt. I think we all do, right? Like we go into some of the darkest places that we could possibly go to that we don't even want to tell anybody. And I don't know if we've ever actually accomplished the ultimate highs of ourselves that's actually out there without taking risks and taking chances. But what I think that trip did, what is it eliminated the basement floor of my negativity and my self-doubt. It brought me up to a different level. So when I drop down now, I don't go in for, to use an analogy of our house. I don't go to the basement anymore. I go to the first level. And it allows me to get back up to the second level because I'm not in the basement where it's dark and grungy and smells like, a shitty basement. It eliminated that level for me. And I think there's things that we can do in our lives by eliminating that bottom level, by reading books, by having a coach, having a psychiatrist, going on these random ass trips. These are things you can do because I've been to that bottom level, and it's no fun.
Yeah.
But that trip allowed me to understand how to work through that and not get that low anymore.
Yeah. I love that you did it by yourself because so many people fear being alone. Like when COVID popped off, like that was a booming time for coaching because people were stuck inside with themselves. They're not used to being in their own company. They have time to self-reflect upon, trauma, tribulation, shit they're going through and really take a look at themselves. And then it got lonely for a lot of people. And it got scary. So I think I always tell people like your solitude should be so sweet. It should be so sweet that the person you allow into that space makes it sweeter, so you can't discover that type of solitude until you've actually spent a lot of time alone and you're okay and you're comfortable with who you are. That's your peace of mind,
Totally know.
Yeah.
So okay, so what have you done that I should do?
I mean, listen, this is going to be corny, but I'm just going to say it because so many men don't do it. Listen, photo shoots. Like I wish I had some story, Jeremy, to tell you. Like I wish I could say, well, I went bungee jumping in the somewhere crazy, but honestly, like photo shoots, and it's not like some guys think it's feminine, or some guys are like, well, I don't know how to pose. I'm not comfortable looking at myself. I'm not comfortable. That's part of it. That's part of it. Why not?
Yeah.
Like so many guys on dating profiles. Oh my God, get a photographer, have a girlfriend take a picture, help you, help yourself. But the fact is, could you imagine if, Jeremy, you're coming over, we're going to do it. We're going to do a fucking photo shoot. Like, bring some outfits. Let's just have some fun. I mean, getting comfortable with yourself.
Okay.
It's a big, can take you let's schedule it. Matter of fact, you said you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's do a photo shoot down the road.
All right, let's do it. That would be so dope. I would do it for the hell, just to be intentionally out of my comfort zone. I would do that for sure.
Yeah, we could drive around Fort Wayne, and listen, me and my mom have done this for years. I put clothes in the car, and I'm like, let's go. I want to go do a photo shoot, and literally, I have like outfits on and we just stop in random places. That'd be a good place for a picture. I mean, you have to have content, you have to make things work, but it's really being comfortable doing that. And man, think about the shots you can have and the confidence it'll boost and how you'll feel about yourself.
Okay. I will do that with you.
Okay.
You will at some point have to come over and tell me what to wear, because I have no style at all. I'm a sweatpants or sweatshirt guy.
You're a sweatpants sweat. Like
that's what I got on. I got sweatpants, sweatshirt. I mean, that's what I live in. So you have to like totally boss me around and let me know what to do and what to wear, and I will do that for sure. Should I go? Now that we're talking about random looks, but should I go goatee or should I go to keep the porn stash going? What do you think?
I think a goatee could be a good look for you.
It adds age to me. That's
Wait,
okay,
listen,
right?
here's the thing with men, and it adds age. Let me give a couple tips to the men. Women like masculinity.
Okay.
Honestly, a beard makes people think you're more masculine in general. We associate masculinity with a beard, which is why, like, even in, we'll leave that for another conversation. So, yeah, masculine, a beard would be attractive, good facial hair is attractive. And men always get really kind of like concerned about, well, it makes me look older. I don't know about you, but a mature man is very sexy and attractive to a 45-year-old woman. I mean, it's attractive.
Okay, so the goatee's coming back. All right, cool. Goatee's coming back. I won't shave. I'll bring the goatee back. All right, you talked me into it.
And then I'll let you know what I think. But I think a goatee could look good.
All right, done. I'll make that happen. A final question for Tawny Lovelace. And again, everyone's watching the show from all over the galaxy. Make sure you follow her. It's the most important thing. Obviously, you can tell she's very passionate, very knowledgeable, and man, I love your rawness, love your realness, and it's not like I say rawness, not like in because sometimes it's a derogatory term, but it's like real shit, and that's obviously why you're changing your clients' lives. So I selfishly I had to have you on the show, and selfishly I'm going to see you again soon. But last question is, how can I add value to you?
How can you add value to me? I think just being upfront and real when you observe something and you notice it's either a pattern for me, or that I'm guessing that, like, through our connection, obviously we have good energy, and I don't my circle's kind of small, but I feel like you and I are going to continue a friendship or get to know each other, because I feel like we can both benefit from a friendship. I think it's just being real, and if not to say like calling me on my shit, but if you have if you're seeing something like, Tawny, I just heard you say this, like, I want to be called on that too. I want someone to have my best interests at heart. So I think that's it. And I think when it comes to business, just you allowing me the opportunity to be on your podcast has added enough value to me. It's definitely filled some of my self-love bucket up today a little bit.
Hell yeah, get it, girl. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're amazing, and I'm not going away. So we are going to see each other constantly. I'll probably end up wearing you out, but I need more of you in my life, because I think you're just I don't know. I just feel like I've been missing this part of my life for a while, and you just fill so many buckets. So I will reach out to you. Well, we'll talk after the show. We'll figure something out soon. Where can everybody find you around the world?
So Tawny Lovelace. So Tawny, most people will be like, hey, Tawny Katane, or Tawny the Port, or Tawny the Color, because it's in the dictionary actually. But Tawny, Tawny, and my real last name is Loveless, Loveless. You can find me at TawnyLoveless.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms as Tawny Loveless.
Well, I would assume everybody out there listening to this podcast is going to find you for sure, because if not, they're making a big mistake. And I think it's for men or for women. And I appreciate everybody watching, no matter where you are around the world. Africa, South Africa is a big country for our. Japan's huge for us. Ireland's huge. Canada's huge. New Zealand's big. It's great. It's crazy. But I appreciate everybody around the world listening to this podcast and watching it and subscribing. This is going to be on YouTube too. Now, I struggle with YouTube. I've talked to this for a long time, but please subscribe to YouTube. Let's get the videos going as well, and share this episode. Allow other people to find the episode. I say it in every single episode. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the positive side.